What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Casey and Michelle, and we are discussing the series finale of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. It is early on a Sunday morning. We just finished watching the episode, and
grab your tissue.
Yes. Epic. That's all I can say. Epic. Like, I think we all had different ideas of what we were expecting when we went into this episode. And I think this show met them and surpassed them. It gave us everything we needed.
Like the Echelon Briefing.
We got the Echelon. We got the Echelon Briefing. We did get some deaths, but not Rick and Michonne. Rick and Michonne
made it.
They got their happy ending.
Yes.
We were puddles of tears by the end.
Yes.
How are y'all feeling?
I feel good.
I do.
I like the way that it ended. And I don't want it to be another season.
It does. I don't think it needs to.
I don't think they need another season.
No.
I think where they ended is anything after this would just be like too much. They made all of the episodes perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to add to that would make it just too
right. Right. So are we thinking Carol was trying to tell Daryl that Rick was back?
Yes.
No.
You don't
still say no.
Really?
Yeah, I still say no.
Who do you think it was that she was talking about?
Morgan.
Oh, okay. So you're
I'll go with.
I still think Morgan.
Okay,
I'll go with Morgan.
Okay.
I think Morgan, because remember he left. Well, we don't know the timeline, but we will assume he left before all the events of all this happened.
Okay.
Because Daryl does know that Rick is not there when he left.
Right. And she wouldn't say that Rick is back. She'll just say Rick is alive.
Correct.
The way she was saying.
Correct.
I feel like she would say Rick is back. Like not only he's alive, he's here. I have physically seen him. I have confirmed it.
But that's not something she's just gonna say once. And when he was like, I ain't hear you, what you say? You understand what I'm saying? Even though the radio kind of went out, I don't think that's something she would just say one time.
No.
You know what I mean? Because I'd be like, did you hear me? Rick back. You know?
Yeah.
She just like someone's, is back.
Yeah.
So I think if it was Rick, no, it'd be a little more. That would have been the first thing. That wouldn't have been into that conversation. Boy, Rick back. You know what I'm saying?
She had to work up to it.
Nah, that's immediate. Wow. That's to find Rick. So that's immediate. That's a point of your mission.
You're right.
So if it was Rick, that's off rip. Rick here, come back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think I saw someone else say that she probably wouldn't have used Rick's name because they're on the radio. And if he got away from the CRM, then he would be on the run. But now that we see what happened with the CRM, the military, that's not even a problem. But I guess we'll figure it out.
The timeline then, just real quick, then I'm thinking that with Carol and Daryl, it's not the end of this story yet. Because this story, they're stopping, the CRM is stopping things because they're over. It's just the CRC. So when Daryl left, the CRM was still in play.
Probably, yeah.
It's Morgan.
When Carol left, the CRM, so it has to be Morgan.
Okay, we'll go with that.
We'll get the timeline.
By the time all them other ones is over, everybody will go back and see Rick. So we will hopefully see Denai ending one more time.
Yes.
One more time.
Yeah. Yes.
One more time. But as far as they're fighting, what they fighting for, they would have no reason to go back out.
No.
They have nothing to fight for. They have nothing to, because now they got food, they got supplies, they got what they need.
Yes, that was okay. So that was the touch at the end. Oh, just a spoiler. We not going in order. So so I hope y'all watched the episode already. The touch that I really liked at the end that I was not expecting was once we get the shot of Rick and Michonne with their children reunited, you see the helicopters from the the Civic Republic delivering food.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's cool. So they're probably taking food to Alexandria. It looks like they are at the Commonwealth, like where the kids were, because she radioed Judith, and Judith probably told her, okay, so we're not Alexandria, so this is where you need to come. And probably got one of the adults to say, well, you know what, no, she probably didn't tell anybody yet.
She didn't, because
she's like, I need my FaceTime with my daddy. So, but yeah, they were at Alexandria. I love seeing the helicopters coming with food. Like, okay, yes, we're about to help people now. That is what we need. That's how you be the last light of the world.
Yes.
Not by wiping out a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to talk about, you know what? Let's do that now, because I know Michelle has really been wanting to talk about this echelon briefing. She's been waiting for it. We've been waiting for it. We got it.
We got it. Was it what you expected? It was for me.
So
yeah, it had to
no.
deal with killing. I thought it would have to deal with other communities too at the same time. I thought it would have to do with Portland and other communities that they have found.
See,
well, basically it did, because he was like, "Who?
We're gonna start at
wipe out.
So
we need to wipe out."
Yeah, because Portland was the quote unquote biggest threat.
Right.
But the Commonwealth had over 10,000 people.
Commonwealth
50,000. Commonwealth had over 50,000 people.
Yeah, so they would have been next eventually.
Yeah,
they would be next, because we said it. Spies.
And he said that we have spies
embedded. They're feeding us information. They're also with the Daryl show too. Everything is all connected. Now I don't know how New York though. They want to come from New York too.
Probably through New Babylon.
But but remember, like we said before, New York was cut off, so nobody was really making that trek.
It's not, but they probably got a spy in there though too.
Sure. Yeah. Well, but depending on what the timeline is, because now once we go back to the other shows, we know the outcome of
Rick and Michonne,
the CRM. So we know the outcome of what that is, and now that helps wrap up the World Beyond.
It does.
That helped, because remember they were going to Portland.
I still want to see my babies though. I need to lay eyes on them and make sure they are okay.
I think the way that they wrapped this up did that. You're not gonna see them.
I know,
but they're okay, because we know that they made it to Portland.
Right.
At the end of
Portland is okay.
They made it to Portland. And now we know that Portland didn't get bombed. They were doing the same thing, trying to warn them.
Yeah.
But now
Portland may have been ready for that.
They might have
been. Bring that fight on.
But they didn't know what was coming.
Right.
They knew something was coming. They didn't know it was going to be gas and kidnapping kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So them getting to Portland, we know they made it. And now with them telling Pennsylvania everything, and now Pennsylvania in contact with Portland, all the information has been disseminated. So there's what's left to fight.
Yeah.
Because even in World Beyond, they was fighting the CRM.
Yeah.
So where are we at now?
And I like how they did it. It was very suspenseful, because I wasn't sure how it was going to be given to him. I wasn't sure if it was going to be in that room with the briefing with others. I like that it was personal, one-on-one. He didn't read a report. He was actually told. I don't know, those little details for me, because it made it very suspenseful. Like, get to it. Like, what are we doing here? What is the reaction? Right. I was kind of nervous though with Rick though, because I was like, you better not sip this Kool-Aid at all, not just a little bit. You did in the past, but not when they start naming. I think when they start naming the antidote, I know when they start naming other communities. Then I was like,
that's when you cross the line. Oh, you crossed the line.
Yeah. And then I like how they had both of them think twice about, we should go home. It wasn't like Rick is the only one like, oh my goodness, should we just go home? She did that too when she ran out, and she was like, I can't. I want to, but I can't.
Because the briefing, the details of the briefing, he basically was telling Rick that their models, their research shows that with the way the world was going, within 14 years, all human life on the planet would cease to exist. So basically, his answer for that
was kill everybody.
Was to kill everybody except for their portion of, the Civic Republic, the CRM. Kill all the other alliances, which is why Omaha fell, Campus Colony fell. They were going to eliminate Portland and hopefully start over. And what they were doing was they have they have put spies, not just in other communities. He said around the world, which means that they are in contact with other countries. And what they were doing is they had specifically selected children in one of the schools in Portland. And what they were going to do was have these spies who were working in these schools snatch these specific children out right before they gassed the city. And I'm like,
10%.
what?
Did we ever know how many people were in Portland?
I don't think they mentioned.
Okay.
They may have in World Beyond, but I don't remember the number. But you know it's big.
Yeah.
It has to be big in order to be on the CRM's radar the way that they were, because Campus Colony was quite large for what they had.
I think they had 10,000 people.
Yeah, I mean, and that's still smaller than the Commonwealth. But again, I feel like now I'm starting to wonder if Lance was that spy for the Commonwealth.
Could have been.
Because he had other things going on. He had access to supplies. He had the train. You can't have, I mean, we've been saying this, you can't have that kind of movement and not be on the CRM's radar. With as much as they were monitoring things and sending people out, reconnaissance, I don't think the Commonwealth has not been on their radar. So I'm starting to wonder, not that it matters now because Lance is dead, but still, that would have been an interesting way to tie.
I thought we saw something somewhere that said the CRM knew about the Commonwealth. I don't know if that's
that
somewhere.
I think we probably heard it somewhere. It's probably because there's a lot of fan theories going around about that and about what the CRM knows and what they don't know. But I mean, but
clearly they know they have spies, and it could have been Lance and a few others. Because you gotta give them in different levels. You gotta give them with the people and in the top level. So,
but yeah, so they were gonna wipe out
and then go back home and then take over.
And then go back. Yes. Take over. Okay, so this is the interesting thing because I remember, and then I saw it in a video. Someone had done a screenshot of a newspaper article from the Civic Republic. And this is from, I believe, World Beyond. And the headline of the article says something about Bill transitioning power to the city. And that's when he was like, he's looking forward to this transition of power. So that's why, the city was able to operate on their own with no interference from the military, because that was something that they had planned out and done. So the fact that now you're going to go back and take the city by force, asserting martial law, just so, as they said, one man's vision. It always starts with one. And I thought about it. It was interesting because a few weeks ago we did one of our shows, and we've been getting a lot of YouTube commentary and comments and discussions about the show and about the episodes. And someone mentioned, because I brought up Jadis's comment about, the CRM has a 500-year plan. They were like, Hitler had a 500-year plan too. And I was like, that's a very interesting comparison to make. And then when you see what Bill was planning, it's not that different, except it's fewer people, but still, like, you were planning to wipe out everybody that wasn't you. So you could be the one in control. So you could be again, this goes back to a conversation we had. It's kind of an ego thing.
Yeah.
And the warped thing about it is he probably really thought that what he was doing was a noble cause and it was going to save the world. But he believed it. Not only he believed it, Thorne
believed it. I'm glad she died. She got what she deserved.
We don't know that she's dead.
Wait. Yeah, she is.
She dead. She is dead.
But here's the thing.
Michonne killed her.
I ain't seen nobody.
Right. Here's the thing. You get the models.
Just because she wasn't a walker doesn't mean she didn't die.
This is what bothers me. You get the models that say, okay, we only have 15 years? 14 years. So we have come this far in the world. So you telling me that it says we have 14 years. You guys can't come up with another plan but to kill people. I mean, we should have some scientists. Let's gather people. Let's come up with an actual plan to move the world forward. But you have none. The only option you have is to kill everyone.
That ain't you.
Yeah, just so you can survive. Because if that's the case, you're only going to survive a little bit longer. It's going to go from 14 to 20.
Yeah.
So you didn't make a deal there.
It'd be different if you were like, remember when back in the original show, once the all-out war was over, and how the saviors went to sanctuary and everywhere trying to get them to be able to sustain on their own. That's what they should have been doing. Right. Like, you get a couple cows, a couple pigs, a couple good.
Right. Now y'all maintain people like you get instead of killing.
And we know that Portland was maintained because you got so many people.
Right. And then you got kids going to school. So let's get these minds that all they've been doing is sitting here in these classes, learning from the teachers, reading. Let's get these minds, put them together and come up with a plan.
Right.
Because we can actually.
Yeah. And you can make safe passages the way Liliana, what's her name? Denying fear. The way Luciana. The way she made passages for people. This is the safe route to here. This safe. You could make that all across the country, depending on who.
And that's what your mission should be. But for him, I guess, and now I'm like talking on the other end. Then you got to look at it military wise. They're not thinking that way. They're like, okay, here's the structure that we need to go to. But you should work together. See, that's the thing. If you work with others, the military, and the education, we bring it together. We can come up with a plan.
If you're gonna kill anything, instead of killing the 90,000 people that may be in Portland, that million strong herd that you were talking about. And looking at the herd, you're talking about the disease. You're talking about, what they could be bringing to us. You got 1 million dead, cooking in the sun. Basically, they're just petri dishes for whatever else. Kill them motherfuckers. Kill them. You obviously have the firepower, as Rick and Michonne demonstrated. You obviously have the firepower.
You have the explosives too.
Right. That's what it's saying.
So it's like
kill them.
Big trenches. Lead them all to the Grand Canyon, set the Grand Canyon on fire. I mean, that'll burn forever.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what? That's not a bad plan.
Because it's a big hole. They're going to follow the fire, fall into it. And like they have the Great Migration every year.
See, this is where Nat would have been invaluable.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he could have done that purple light all in the Grand Canyon, and walkers from all directions would have flocked towards it.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Just don't go to the fucking gate.
But here's the thing. We're thinking of other options. Yeah. You should have had the other options.
Yeah. It shouldn't just automatically go our way. We are the light of the world. If you don't go our way, we got to kill you.
Right.
Other communities have been sustaining, which we know because of the other shows. But
and you could go and talk to them, see how they're doing it, how it's working for them.
So figure out how they're making gas. Go to Texas and find out about her refineries.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All these resources and y'all fighting over little pieces of land.
Right.
It's enough for
everybody. We can still farm. We can still farm. Let's.
Right.
Yeah. It's easier to work together than work trying to kill each other.
Because even Alexandria,
Commonwealth, sanctuary, you fighting over these places. And believe it or not, y'all are insignificant compared.
But then what you're doing is when you're killing all these people, but then you're adding on to the whole. Yeah. Right. Because when you gas Portland, you're not going in there and giving headshots.
Exactly.
So then that's another group that gets added on because they're going to end up past the wall. Yeah. So you're just adding to the problem.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm sure there are communities out there that, clearly we don't know about because we ain't all over the U.S. I'm sure there are other little places that have made their own little community because you can't tell me it ain't no farmers in Wyoming who got their own space.
Right. And even Alexandria was able.
Their own ecosystem.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me that there aren't other places that, hey, let's get something to everybody. Hey, this is what we do. This is how we work. Like Georgie was doing. Let me show you how to build these things. Let me show you how to make these things. If all of these people got together and shared what they damn know, it'd be no point.
So instead of having this meeting here, we could bring all the minds together to have a different type of meeting. So, okay.
But that's
And
not.
you can't leave mentality. Go. I mean, if I wanted to leave and go out, I mean, not that most of them are probably comfortable and really don't want to leave, but look for people.
Right.
Can go. Oh,
Yeah.
Because you're concerned what other people, you have the military.
That
So why are
part.
you concerned about these small groups around you? They're not a threat, to be honest with you. They're not.
It only took 2 people.
But we gotta consider the people.
Impossible miracle.
You gotta consider the people.
They still will, but number one, if anybody who comes in, we if they come in looking like Michonne with a sword and Rick with a hand, you be like, okay, wait a minute. You know what I mean? You will still let them in, but come on, have safety nets in place. You know what I'm saying? But
not send them off to be tested on.
Yes.
Right.
Or not let them in at all, because when you don't let them motherfucker in, now they mad. Oh, I can't get it? Oh, okay. I'm gonna show you I can get it. You know what I'm saying? That's when you have people who you get your dissension where, whoa, then you ain't let my cousin in. You know.
That's why I said they couldn't get Michonne group. It was too many of them, because when they go through the meeting, they'll be like, this half is leaving, this half is staying. And they'll be like, no, you can't separate us. So instead, let's gas.
Yeah. It's like, how you gonna tell me where I can and can't go? I came here freely. Now I can't leave. Same with the Commonwealth. Remember, you couldn't leave.
Yeah.
When you first got there, before all the shit happened, you couldn't leave. Why can't you leave?
But no, at least even with the Commonwealth, they did allow people to go scavenging. Or at least that was I'm sorry, that was Carol and Lance.
Yeah.
Okay. No. So that's different. But
people should be able to look, if you leave, you know the consequences if you don't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know it's dangerous out there, but there will be people who be like, I could leave, but I don't want to. But when you take that option from me, you be like, damn, well, why can't I leave?
Right.
Not that there's really anything out there for me. Oh, well, I'm sorry, open. I want to go.
Yeah.
Oh, and even though they opened it up at the end, I'm sure there are people who are like, oh, I'm good.
Oh
yeah, that is.
Yeah,
I'll be the one.
Yeah.
I'm.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna leave. I'm just going. Okay, I'm just gonna go to the park. Okay,
right.
That's as far as I go.
But if y'all want to go find other people and bring them in,
I'll help out.
In the main show, when they went to Commonwealth, they have a perimeter around the main area anyway. You know what I'm saying? And hell, Philadelphia was hidden.
Yeah.
So the city within the burnt out city, you ain't even see. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have these things in place to keep y'all safe already.
Right.
So why with all the extra?
Right.
And he was so serious about it. Like he really believed what he was saying. And Thorne really believed what he was saying. And she was like, just watching her go from hope to the realization of the fact that Rick is probably there to tamper with stuff, and then her realization
on who Dana
was, that, oh, that's the reason you're the reason he was trying to get out. I really hoped that it would not take her to be near death to understand that there was still hope in the world. But her thing was like,
she didn't even think there was love left in the world. You can't kill love.
Right.
Not that one. Not that one.
Love shows her.
Okay. Not that one. But just her, okay. Even sitting there listening to him give this briefing, there were a couple of points where I might have been like, when he told Rick, you could be the next leader of the CRM. I thought that would kind of maybe make him double think, because he would think, oh, well, you know what? If I'm in charge, I can change, because, for a while he was still thinking, I can still change it. I can still change it. So I thought, if anything, that might be the little thing to make him say, let me rethink this.
Wait, did he give that you could be the next leader before or after? He gave that before he told him what the Echelon Briefing was.
No, this was after.
This was after.
This was after.
Oh, yeah.
That's
what I thought.
When he told him what it was,
Oh,
he did, but then I still thought like Hanto, like that little bit of you can be the leader and you can bring
your family, your
in.
friend. He was like, at this point, I don't care. Because he really thought that because Rick, like he said, you were dead. You were dead to us. You could have gone anywhere, but you came back. So in his mind, that was a different Rick from the Rick he is known for the last 8 years.
Who kept trying to escape.
He was like, okay, you know what? This is a man who has the commitment. This is the man who could see it through, which we already know this about Rick. We know that he is the kind of leader that can get people to follow him. He knows that we know that he can get shit done. But I think Rick was just kind of like, you know what? No, because in order for that to happen, one, Bill has to be dead.
Mm-hmm.
And two, Portland would have already been wiped off the map.
And
I think that would not have sat good with him. As much as he wanted to go home, as much as he wanted to see his kids and just be like, look, I'm sick of this. I just want to go home. I mean, he said it. He told Michonne, and I even understand why he was like, look, he was like, I'm mad about all the time I lost. I just want to go home. I just want to go home. I just want to be with my kids. I get it. But that way, Bill's way, it just and I'm just really like at the end when Thorne allowed them, well, I won't say allowed them to leave, but she gave Rick her gas mask so that he would be able to breathe because she knew she was a goner. She said Okafor was right, Bill was wrong. Why did it take all of this for you to see that? Like, what was it that made you not understand that killing entire cities of people is a bad thing? Like,
I don't know what made Jadis think that this was okay. She knew about the briefing.
She did.
She knew about the briefing.
Yeah.
And you
already,
because
she explained it though.
No.
She explained
because what would be the point of writing a dossier if they're gonna eliminate him anyway? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but just trying to, but we don't know when that would have came.
True.
Portland is the immediate one.
Yeah.
So that could be like a few years from now. So she just was trying to put it in place so this man won't kill him.
Yeah, but I don't think that would have been a few years because the fact that they were moving as quickly as they were, because in this timeline now, I think Omaha would have been maybe a year or so before that, because it took them a year to do the Cascadia Base. Probably a few weeks or a few months after that is when all this is taking place. So,
and it was, I'd say at least a year, because then they have to go and take over their home and get that restructured and
but they were already bringing in the quote unquote comfort toys and comfort items.
Before it was about to happen.
Yes, because I'm saying that was a year from the other.
Oh, okay.
And then you got to say they got to go home now, get everyone in check there. Then they're going to start branching out. So that would take a few months, up to a year. So I'll say maybe a year before they get to Commonwealth, depending on, we don't know what other communities they know about.
Right.
And who's in what.
Right.
Like the listing. Because Commonwealth could be number 10. We thinking it's number 3, but it could be just 10.
Yeah.
So.
But because that's a sizable community. So you would think they would start with the larger ones first, whatever they do know about. But here's my question. So were you planning on eliminating the other cities that you know about around the world, since you claim you have spies around the world?
Don't forget they was in Texas. Remember Al and her little girlfriend from the pool? So they was doing something in Texas. It was in Texas too.
They would have monitored the threat. And then overseas probably wouldn't have been a threat because that doesn't interfere with, as long as they don't come over here. You can't worry about that.
But they were
and starvation over there.
Communities were
that may be a threat of coming, figuring out how to get overseas.
But
going back to Jadis,
because if they go to the Mont Saint Michel, they're gonna see well, it's not 50,000 strong, but still it's like a good little
community.
Yeah.
But that community is not trying to go anywhere.
No.
So that works out.
They're just trying to
and I think what happens with people who
and they
follow,
trying to keep our person.
Bill did something to get people to come over. And I don't know the proper name or how he did it, but literally he's taking their emotions. So like Jadis, her whole community was there because of her. And that really bothered her. So he used that. Thorn, he used, never getting back to that loved one. Again, he tried it with Rick, who was the person who
you
lost. My son, you couldn't have saved him. So, but we can save this small community. We can rebuild from this small community. And he helped him too. My dad said you got to burn things for it to, right. That's what I'm trying to do, dude. That's what he's trying to say. So this is what I'm trying to do.
I'm trying to be on your level.
Yeah. But I know it's like the sacrifice. Like basically we say this when people are trying to save the world and stuff, but then they try to save that one loved one, which will then kill everyone. So like for me, I have this movie in my mind. I forgot what movie, Cabin in the Woods. That movie really bothered me because at the end, these two characters that was left, they said that one of them will have to die for the world to live. You know what they decided to do? Neither one of us will die. The world will just have to survive on its own. And the monsters came out. You could have saved the world to kill one person. That's all the same thing. But I just don't agree when it comes to kids. I'm just a little bit like that.
No, however, I understand that.
But that is exactly what they're doing. No, we're going to save that one person versus the world. So that's what he's thrown in their face. We can kill these 10,000, but save
bring your people.
Yeah,
but no,
we save the 50.
That bring people in conversation with everybody else. I only think he had that with
I think so too.
Because he kept trying to escape.
Right.
He knew Rick was trying to get somewhere.
So he was like,
even though you don't care, there's still somebody out there that you want to get.
Right.
So I don't bring him because Okafor killed his wife, so he ain't had nobody. Thorn was on the thing by herself, so she ain't had nobody. Rick then tried to escape 87,000 times. So I know it's somebody out there. Why don't you just go get them, bring them here, because you'll be the next leader.
And we can save this group right here.
Yeah.
Because the other group is going to pull us down and we're all going to die in 14 years anyway. Let's try to save this group.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work.
No.
That's why I have a problem with all of those. So 2,000, we did
2,533.
No one was like, I don't think we should do this.
But probably
the first time they did it, it wasn't even Portland. They were probably talking about Omaha and and you'd be like, that's why he probably killed people when they hesitate.
But
I would have been dead.
I mean, Elizabeth did. Remember that one soldier who spoke? Well, yeah. No, not Felix. There was another soldier, the one who ended up being the experiment.
I thought his name was Felix.
No, Felix. Felix was our guy, the guy who was watching over Hope and Iris.
It was the other soldier that was.
Yeah, right after they did right after they did the campus colony, he came to Elizabeth's apartment.
Yeah,
and voiced concerns.
And he was the next experiment.
Yeah,
right. And he didn't even get to the briefing, so he wouldn't have made it to the briefing because he was like, "Oh, this don't even smell right."
So that's probably what they did to anybody who.
But probably for the most part, I'm saying for the most part, all 2,533 people done lost somebody to the point. I ain't got nothing to lose.
That's true, and I can save others.
Yeah,
and I can save others.
Rick had things to lose,
or
you let people have a choice though. See, Rick is all about choices. Michonne is about choices. See, there's a group with people that don't have a choice and people have a choice.
Yeah, or even choice. Some of those 2533, they could have had people out there, but some people are gonna put their comfort and their safety above everybody else. They might be like, oh, you know what? I love my wife out there, but you know what? Y'all are guaranteeing me safety. Y'all are guaranteeing me comfort. Y'all are guaranteeing me that I don't ever have to go out there and deal with that again. There are some people who would be like, you know what? Love you, boo. Gotta go.
Right. And they don't know if their loved ones is alive or not. And they're not like Michonne going on a, years long road trip to find your boo. So they're like, okay, if they live, they live. They die, they die.
Right.
Horrible.
But Rick was like, they did a lot of flashbacks in this episode. I like the touches back to the main show, and then you get some snippets of the world beyond, because you see them doing the experiments when not Okafor, when Bill is talking to Rick. And then you see the flashback with Okafor, because what happens is Bill takes that sword and he lays it down in front of Rick after he has laid out this whole briefing, what the plans are and everything. And he says, swear by the sword. And you get that flashback to Okafor right before he dies. And he tells Rick, he said, when it's time, swear by the sword. And the captions, because I'm old and I have to have captions, the captions said, don't let it take. But what he said was, don't hesitate.
That threw me off.
And Rick hesitated because he's sitting here like, so if I swear by this sword, I'm basically
agreeing with your ass,
saying,
I agree with you,
that I'm okay with no.
And
Okafor, and Bill, why I keep wanting to call him Okafor? And Bill was like, no. Rick took that knife he had in his hand and threw it at him. I said, oh, okay, so this is how Bill is about to die. Because I really thought, seeing one of the promos that with Michonne and Bill's sword, I thought Michonne would have been the one to kill Bill.
When they were sitting there with that sword, I thought at any moment Rick was going to pick up the sword and kill him. So that's why I was like holding my breath. I didn't think it was, when he had when he said, I'm going to kill all the other communities. He was like, you know what? This not right.
Because he was sitting there with that knife. How in the world? Because Bill told him, put his gun down, take off that prosthetic arm with the blade. Because he knew at some point, he was like, and he probably did this with all the soldiers, put your weapons down. Because somebody in that room, you can't tell me out of 2,533 people, you can't tell me that somebody sat in that room, listened to his plan to annihilate all of these people, and didn't say, oh, if I had a weapon, I'd kill your ass right now. Right. Somebody had to do
the Echelon Briefing was probably
Omaha.
Yeah. And their plan.
Yeah. So you can't tell me that he wasn't doing that for a reason, but the fact, and I don't know, maybe this is just oversight on Bill's part. Maybe this was hope. You didn't check this man for any other weapons? You really thought he only had his gun and the prosthetic?
I don't think he would think anything different.
Yeah.
Because to him, what he say? You could have left and went anywhere, but you came back. So to him, why would I think you got extra weapons there? Yeah. You want to be here. You came back of your own volition. Why would I think it's anything different? So why would I check you? I know about you having a gun. I know about your hand. Let me get them. Yeah. Why would I think to pat you down for anything else? You here willingly.
Yeah.
So what would be the point?
And then he also looked in Rick's eyes, because you see that flashback to when he said, I'm just going to look in your eyes and see the truth. So he's looking at Rick's eyes and he was like, oh, look, you hesitating. And I'm wait, this ain't right. And he goes to pick up the gun, but I'm like, dude, you had your hand on the sword. All you had to do was reach down and maybe just flick that way.
It's not fast
You know, the other thing I noticed,
he's fast enough with a gun.
This is the man who leads the military. But when Rick was brought to him, he was killing the walkers with the stick. And he said, I don't do this. I've never had to do this before. I didn't do the 6 years of consignee that everybody else did, because he's
not a citizen.
Right. He's not a citizen because he was literally the one that helped bring down Pittsburgh. So why would they make you prove your mettle? You've already proved it by doing what you did. But did you notice while he was talking to Rick, he was just heavy breathing. I'm like, dude,
I shake much.
If it came to you fighting with anybody,
it wasn't gonna work. Look, his walker was slow. Michonne was like, come on. Honey, come on, you can make it.
But Rick killing him and putting him in the little bin and then going into the elevator. I was like,
see, they clearly already knew they planned because I was lost. I'm like, why should she keep in the body?
yeah,
I thought
right.
she wouldn't kill him right then before he reanimated.
Right. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was like, don't.
But now once we know what the plan is,
yeah,
makes sense.
And
well,
he didn't know the plan. I think he was trying to make sure
that no one saw him.
No one saw it.
Right.
Because then that was right.
He don't have Michonne.
Right.
She only made the noise.
He was just like, he looking like, okay, because someone can come in here and see him at any point, and then that destroys whatever plan they did have.
Not just someone, Thorne, because Thorne knew he was in there. Thorne was waiting for him.
Everyone knew he was getting.
That's
other soldiers did too. That's around him.
I don't know. I don't know if anybody else would have been
Thorne, but even you got a couple other people know what's happening.
Maybe
his assistant. Thorne is not his assistant. His assistant knows that he's out.
But
he was talking to Rick.
We don't know. We've never seen an assistant.
No, but I'm just saying you don't know if that assistant will come into the room. Another soldier that's his assistant will come in the room. So you got to get him out of that room.
I don't think so because remember, he very specifically told Rick that the day before an operation.
But his assistant will know that. But if there's an emergency, someone has to be able to get in contact with him, even when he's off walking alone.
I don't know.
What I'm trying to say is basically you don't know who's going to come into that room.
Yeah.
You got to get rid of the body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they can alert.
Yeah.
But the fact that that this man is like free bleeding into the elevator, and the guy who was standing there, he was just cool
until you look down.
And then he just starts like, oh, what's it? And it could have been something because that puddle was getting kind of big. So it could have been just in that peripheral.
Dripping. We don't know.
No, actually, we do.
Once it started hitting,
you could actually hear it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When they showed it from the angle where you see the dripping. If you listen closely, you'll hear the drip, drip, drip. So that could have been what, brought his attention to it too. But I was just like, that elevator ride, that's got to be the slowest elevator ride
and
ever.
Rick keeps looking down too.
Yeah, you ain't making
so the person next to you keep looking down. You like, okay, well, what is happening?
Right,
and I hear a noise, so let me look.
Mm-hmm. Just Rick, I need you to be cool. That's okay, because he
did all that curly hair coming out there.
I know, but he did what he was supposed to do. I mean, he bashed that dude's poor face in, helmet and all,
and then stuck him in the bucket,
and then stuck him in there like that. Too grown.
You did.
You just throw them in. I mean, at this point.
And the crazy thing is, the elevator leaves while they're fighting, and then it comes back, and there's another soldier on it. He's about to. She was like, "Yo, Rick, it's me. It was Michonne." And she was like, "Is this yours?" What's in here? And he was just looking like, So what had happened was,
but I got you something.
Right. Gave her Bill's sword, which you were saying, look, she has to have a sword. She has to have Bill's sword. This was even before we saw the promo images that were released. But yeah, Thorne. I gotta go back to Thorne. I know you wanted her dead.
I'm glad she did.
And she got dead. At least I think
lost her way.
And she found it right before she died.
She drank the cook.
She did. She lost her way, but she found it at the end.
Yeah.
She did.
But you had to get stabbed.
Yeah. You had to fight
by a sword.
But love had to kill you.
Love beat that ass. Love beat that ass.
But the look on her face while she was thinking back to all this stuff and realizing that Dana was who Rick was trying to get to. Mm-hmm. She was like, God damn it, this motherfucker fooled me. Mm-hmm. She was ready to kill. Yeah. And she almost did. She realized what they were doing. She walked out. She saw all the people gathering, all the soldiers gathering for that briefing, and it clicked. And she was like, oh, hold the fuck up. She found them, and they were almost okay. So,
and what didn't help was him leaving his hand.
Why did he do that?
Because he didn't want to. I'm done. Yeah, he's done.
That's letting you know I'm done.
Okay,
he wasn't gonna take that with him.
Yeah, that's a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I will nub it out.
This is not a part of me.
This is not a part of me.
Okay,
exactly.
Okay, Gotcha.
So when he left it, I was like, okay.
And Thor knew that then.
Yes,
like, she was like,
absolutely.
He's done.
He done.
He's done.
Yeah, especially knowing that he just got the echelon briefing.
Right, then you know he's done because he's like, okay.
Yeah, like, no, mass murder was not what I planned to put on my resume.
Yeah.
I mean, you ended up with it on there anyway.
Well, yeah, but you know, it's
for the greater good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still
it's kind of like Oak Forest sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you know what?
We have to because
y'all
all of those soldiers agreed upon this.
Yeah.
They swore on the sword. So which means that even if we kept them alive, they can still want to continue on with this path. Oh, no. They all had, we got to start at zero.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
The infantry, they said the infantry had no idea what was happening. So they will work with those soldiers.
Yeah.
That will be their little, that'll be their military.
But we will not have another
red person.
Right. And we don't know what's happening.
Yes.
Yep.
This is a town hall now. Hey, what y'all done?
Yeah.
Right.
I need to know.
But like, yeah, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
2,533.
Well, I mean, you know, it's not all of them
plus.
because a couple of people dead. You know, Okafor is dead.
And I believe it's more.
Dead. Could be.
Because you got to think about, he gave the briefing that many times, right? Personally. He said personally. Mm-hmm. So there's a group that were together before they started to branch out that he was working with. And they all knew though. Because they probably all got it together. So I think it's supposed to be 3,000.
Yeah, it was 3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah.
So
but they all did now.
Yeah, they are.
I love their setup with the grenades.
Yeah.
That was cute. I like that. I never would have thought of that because when they was stringing the grenades together, I'm like, what the fuck is they gonna do with that? And when they first went into the room, I thought they was just gonna set them up in there to blow up.
But see, I was
they
like,
made sure they did every one.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna strap this bad boy up.
Right.
Y'all gonna get these.
Right. Because I was like, how are they gonna get out of there? Because once you pull that pin, you only have a few seconds. So then when they pulled the bodies out, I was like, oh, that's a very smart way to do it.
Yeah.
But also, so I liked it. And matter of fact, it's on this part now. When they're setting the stuff up and they look at each other, does that remind y'all of anything?
The
like
street.
the bridge?
Yes.
Yep, the bridge with the wire and the walkers. I was like, okay, so we're completely back in sync now. Loving it. And even when Thorne confronted them, they knew. They were like, okay, you know what? She told them to turn back around and go undo whatever they did. She didn't realize that Bill was dead because she was like, when we find Bill, you're gonna pay for what you've done. Go back and undo what you did. But when they're walking towards the thing, they grab each other's hands. So if she had any doubt in her mind at that point that it was them two, she knew right then and there. As soon as they grabbed each other's hands, they were like, look, this is what we do. I think they were fully prepared to go to their deaths because they thought they were going to die. And then when Bill's walker came out the tent, it gave them just enough time to go to the side, find that little space in between those other containers. And there was a flag with some water. They cut the flag down and got up under it. So the water is dripping down on him when all of those things explode. And it's all the chlorine gas, not just bombs. There's chlorine, the chlorine bombs. So they're under there protected. And again, all of the soldiers are dead. And they're starting to storm. They have to separate because they're fighting. You know, Michonne finds Thorne. They get to fighting. Rick is pulled by walkers, and I'm gonna tell y'all that was so stressful because I didn't think Rick was gonna die, but there have been a lot of people online who thought that one or the other was going to die. Y'all came really close to giving me a heart attack because he had 5, 6, 7 walkers.
Yeah, and then I start thinking of Rosita, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna end up with the bite. He's gonna go home and say goodbye to die. And I was like, I can't.
I was like, they better not do that shit. They better not do that shit. I was like, I would be pissed. So
me too.
Luckily, he had a grenade on him. He threw it.
No, I thought he put it off of a walker.
Was it all? Oh, I thought it was
the pin off of a walker.
Because the pin was on his finger, and that's when he grabbed the guy and put him in front of him.
Okay, because all those walkers blew up, but the ones that were surrounding him
the back of there.
They protected him, but I was like, I know he had a headache out this world.
Mm-hmm.
And his ears were probably ringing forever. But he made it out. Michonne made it out. She had the gas mask, and Thorne gave hers to Rick, and they got out of there. I was just like, and then you see them on the helicopter, and you hear also the briefing. I guess it may have been the news briefing, but you hear them talking about what happened with the military, and they're basically telling all of the citizens what happened with the military. Okay, so we're not about to have this military anymore. This is about to be full city oversight. We are about to, make sure all this shit is shut down, all this corrupt shit. They were planning on killing the people in Portland. We got to be diligent, make sure nothing like this happens again. Like you said, Michelle, they talked about the infantry. Infantry had no idea about this. So at some point,
Cyrus will be okay. Cyrus will be okay.
I hope so. I hope he wasn't one.
Yeah.
But apparently they did go back to Philadelphia, or because they had to tell them what was going on. And we see Michonne got her sword back, which Casey was very happy about.
That's the one reunion we ain't see on screen, but it's okay.
But she got it. We saw it. We saw it. But I love that when we saw them on the helicopter going home, you see Rick's hand shaking. He was so nervous to see his children. And then you hear Michonne on the radio. Shoto, it's Daito. You see Judith, and you see her pick up that radio, just screaming happiness. And I'm so glad they brought Kaylee and Anthony back to play the kids, because I saw somebody else say, well, I think since it's been a few years, they should recast. No, you cannot recast those two kids. It hasn't been that long that they look so different. Even though Kaylee just had her 17th birthday. Oh my God.
And went to prom.
But anyway, when he stepped off the plane, were those his same boots?
Yes, it was. I was gonna say he needs some new boots.
So Michonne, so that means they got all of their stuff back. So Michonne has her journal that she wrote to her kids, so they know exactly what was going on with her. So it's like, now I feel like there's some closure there, because the kids will know, well, one, she came back with him. So they know that she didn't just abandon him, because those kids, because those kids were giving Judith hell about, oh, that's why your mom never came back, da 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 da. So for her to have that kind of record, to be able to see what her mom had to endure to do what she asked. Remember, she was the one that sent Judith on this. I mean, she was the one that sent Michonne on this quest. Go get him. You have to go. What if he's trying to get back to us and he can't, and nobody is there to help him? You have to go help him. Judith was telling her at that time, you can't help everybody else and then not go help him, no matter what the cost. And I love that he got to see them. He finally got to meet them. They got their hug from Michonne, and she's looking at them. And he stood back. He waited for his moment, because I think he was still gathering. But also, just as a father, and I've said this before, they did some amazing casting with Kaylee, because when I say, if I did not know she wasn't Chandler Riggs' real sister, I would think it, because they look an awful lot alike. So that had to be kind of jarring for him too, because when he left, she was this little bitty blonde-headed girl, and now she's this older Carl. She looks just like Carl. But I love the fact that there was no hesitation on her part. There was no nervousness. She just went and hugged him, and she was like, I never gave up. I knew you were out there. I believed. And the same thing with RJ. RJ is looking at him like he's giving his sister her time, because that's the parent. She remembers that parent. He's never met her. And then when he finally gets in front of him, he's like, you're the brave man. And it took Rick a long time to answer that question, because I think he was probably still in that mindset that he was before. He was like, yes, I am. Yes, I am.
You are, yes, honey. Trust me.
Yes, I'm the brave man. But maybe you can call me Dad. he was like, I knew you would come back. And Rick is like, how? I believed. You know that his sister been talking to him like, no, mom is coming back and she's bringing dad. And yeah.
They did a good job.
It was
perfect.
When I say we're all on the couch, sobbing, tissue, just that was the reunion I needed. And like I said, the added touch of seeing the CRM helicopters with those bundles of supplies going to other places, that was just like, that was what I needed. That was what I needed from the show. You gave us a premise, you delivered on it, and I don't have, like, if this is the end of Rick and Michonne's story, I'm good. I don't have to see them doing anything else. Rick better not take his ass nowhere for the immediate future. Michonne,
he's retired.
They're like, you know what? I'm gonna stay with my
Commonwealth
children.
is cool.
Yeah, so
like they done got that, and he ain't even got to be the leader. We got Ezekiel and Mercer. So he don't even need to do that. He can chill and be a daddy.
Yes.
That's his only job. He ain't even got to be officer friendly. He just got to be a dad.
Right.
Because y'all had put in work. Retire.
Yeah.
Girl. Retire and like, don't call me for shit.
And Civic Republic is indebted to him too. So it's like if they need anything, he just
Absolutely.
Like, oh, you stopped us from being taken over, from possibly being, I don't think Bill would have gone so far as to kill those people in that scene.
But Gordon is forever indebted to them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
The sad part is I think Bill would have. When it came down to the end and it was getting even to the point where the people in their area was starving, he would have started eliminating people all the way up until
the briefing inside
until the military.
Well, they wouldn't have needed the briefing at that point because his whole thing was martial law.
Yeah, so he would have started killing civilians, leaving military alive.
So yeah,
it would have been nasty.
So yeah, they have friends in high places now. So Commonwealth is taken care of. Alexandria is taken care of. Now, again, got to kind of figure out. Oh, look, and then she's got Rick's gun.
Look at those shoes.
Well, yep.
Them the same ones.
Those are definitely the same ones. But let me tell you, I just lost my train of thought. Because the reunion is playing in the background and I'm distracted again. She is still wearing that little bitty ass sword. Now she done outgrown that sword.
He would have Carl head on.
Yeah.
And of course they're gonna run to Michonne. They know her.
Right, but
that's mom. Yeah, but you know you're gonna hit mom first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Get out the way, Dad. Where's my mama?
Right, but I mean, still, also you got to show some appreciation to the woman who went to go get this motherfucker. Like,
and he's standing there so nervous. It's so cute.
He's just looking at Judith because he's just like, she's grown.
She was a baby when he left.
Okay, I'm gonna cry. Let me stop. But okay, so depending on how this falls into the timeline, this gives me even more question about, and I gotta bring it up, why the fuck Maggie was still so far away from everybody? Because if you have supplies, you have access to supplies. And we know if Judith and RJ are still only
this has to be the last thing. This has to be the last thing in order for everything to work. You understand what I'm saying?
But it would, unless
they come back when Carol's gone. You know what I'm saying? But this has to be the last thing because they took down the CRM.
They took down the CRM, but think about Herschel's age in Dead City.
Yeah.
Herschel,
but if for them to come back, they know about Hilltop. They would have made sure Hilltop had food.
But that's why I'm saying, why is Maggie okay? If that's the case,
I think this is all at the same time. Because so right now, Maggie is in New York.
No, she made it back to Hilltop with her. Remember?
Okay, but even before that, before all of this, think about it. Herschel is younger than Judith. The Herschel that we saw in Dead City is not younger than this child here.
Then how they
So
gonna make
at
that
some
work?
point,
It is because he just got taller. And she's only older by a year.
2 years.
Is she really?
Mhm.
Maybe
Mhm.
2, maybe 3.
I would say less. Because she was a baby. And
No,
then
she was a toddler.
She was a toddler.
She
So
was a toddler.
I mean, 2.
2, maybe
That's what I'm
3.
saying. I would just say 2. No more than it can't be no more than 3.
So yeah, that math is not mathing.
And then he's just taller. So he could look like he's older than
But
she.
think about it, boys don't get taller until they're later in their teen years.
It depends. Because I got someone right now that's taller than me. And they're 9.
Okay. But going back to my original question, if Rick is back, if the Civic Republic is providing supplies, as we saw, why the hell are you not still with your family? Because I will say this, if they were together, and she could be, she could be mad because Rick out after all of this survived.
How dare you get your
No,
man
I don't
back?
even think it's this.
But I don't think so. But
Rick. I think she still, we talked about this. She still needs help. She still needs to let that go. And I don't think it has anything to do with Rick. That's why she's been separated from her family. Even when Rick was gone, she was separated from them.
And I understand it, but my question is, Rick is back. He has the means to get supplies so that your people aren't struggling. Why are you still away from him? And why are, I guess I'm just still kind of like, and I understand the whole thing with the Croat, him telling Maggie that she has to bring Negan to him or whatever to go get her son back. If Michonne can go and find Rick after 8 fucking years and bring him back, you don't think they can help you get your son back? That's all I'm saying.
I don't think
that's
they
all
were
I'm
back
saying.
at that time. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that they were there.
I don't know.
I think this is the last thing. Of course, they put it out of order because we want to know what happened.
Right. So she may already have Herschel back now. Like that already happened, and now Herschel is back home.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll find out when
how it affects. We'll see because we will then know how it affects New York with all of this ending.
Because Philadelphia and New York right there.
Right.
Yeah.
So but right now, when she came back with Herschel, this was still happening.
Okay.
They hadn't made it back yet.
I don't know. I think at some point I'm gonna sit down.
All of this has to go on at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It has to. There's no other way.
Because I'm thinking that
because the way they just wrapped up the CRM, CRM's place in every other show, we know ends here.
Right.
We know that.
Yeah.
Because y'all already said y'all extend the help to other communities. The military is gone. So anything that happens before this.
Okay. And then how
it has to.
Carol and Daryl
makes 0 sense.
Get back is we gonna see Rick in the helicopter.
Could be.
Be picking them up. Picking them up off the shore.
Say at the end of us seeing them. I hope we see them again.
I told you I have to now see that reunion.
You too.
He went look for him too.
You too.
So I need to see it.
We need 4 boxes of tissue.
Yeah.
Because baby, Daryl loved him some Rick.
That's his brother.
That's his brother.
He never gave up on him.
There is no way they are not gonna give us that reunion.
Or him knowing that he's alive.
If he knows he's alive, fuck that little boy on the beach.
No, you gotta save the little boy. No. You still got to save him.
No, that's the bullshit. If you know Rick is alive, to go.
No, he knows he's alive and safe. He's gonna have to save the little boy. No, he can't.
He gonna say,
look, we still have some Daryl Dixon episodes we gotta talk about. So let's not talk about it too much here. But
we have not seen Daryl Dixon, but fuck that little boy.
You know what? I wouldn't even go so far as to say fuck Laurent. Fuck all the grown-ups who are trying to make Daryl stay. Like he ain't told y'all 50 million times he got family home. Anyway, again. Okay.
And from this, at least in the US, he ain't the light of the world because they have made their way over him.
Right.
Have they not?
Right.
Y'all only have limited information as far as Laurent is concerned.
Yeah.
To think he gonna bring back the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not knowing in the US it's community of 100,000, community of 50,000, community of this many thousand. You got at least 500,000 people in the world, if not more. Because these are their communities we don't know about. Right. We still got Texas. It's over 1 million people still alive.
It's got to be.
Well over 1 million people still alive.
Right.
Because we only hit in certain communities. There's still parts of the country we ain't touched.
Right.
And we ain't explored or had people go to.
Right.
So you can't think that Laurent is the savior of all people.
No.
Because explain the US. Not even going into any other country outside of France.
Maybe they need to give him to the scientists and we can.
But hell, they on world beyond. They in the US.
No, so that's why we gotta all work together. That's what I'm saying. That should have been the plan. Everyone work together. Everyone has a little bit of knowledge of what works and what don't work. If you put them all together in a room, we could come up with some solutions instead of killing everybody.
Right. But instead, you have the world beyond soldiers in the basement of a mall in I forgot where they are in New York.
Well, see, and if they're in New York, at some point they're gonna have to run across Maggie now. At some point,
not necessarily because New York is huge. Yeah. New York is huge. We know that, like the Croat and everything, they're on Manhattan.
Ma'am, the world ain't huge if Michonne can go from fucking Virginia to goddamn Washington and find her man. You mean you can't find somebody in your backyard? Come on now.
I'm just saying they are hiding.
That is true. That is true.
They're hiding because they got important shit to do, and they're trying to make sure that the CRM don't find them.
I'm sorry, but the same way, even in this show, how do you find a mall that still got food and all this other shit? Like people didn't scavenge the mall. It's been years. Same way y'all picked a lot to get in. You ain't think people smash windows at the end of the world trying to find places with food? Come on now. I get it. But come on now. You telling me after 8 years this whole mall untouched? Not a broke window. Hey, even the prison had a broke wall. They had food and shit. But y'all mean to tell me this mall went untouched until y'all showed the fuck up?
I mean, the bedding was still
it's a perfect mall.
Yeah. But I mean, even
though it was close to the CRM and they killed everybody in that close proximity, but come on now.
But
before
I mean, even
the CRM was set up, don't you think they went and scavenged and made sure who was there?
But think about it. In Fear the Walking Dead too, that mall that they went to was kind of untouched.
It was.
The one that Morgan, it was.
But it had dead people in it. This one didn't even have no dead people in it.
No, they did.
It did.
They killed them.
Right.
But yeah, it was untouched.
Well, okay. In the zombie apocalypse, go to the mall because.
Right. I mean, and you have everything. You got clothes, you got food, you have bedding, you have a infinite number of bathrooms. So yeah, go to the mall.
Clearly.
We stay around the corner from
so the zombie apocalypse happened to meet me in South Lake.
Wait, what won't tell everybody that? You gotta be select now. Let me quit.
And now it sounds not at South Lake, at the other one.
Yeah, one of the others.
Yeah. We'll coordinate later.
But this episode gave me everything I needed. Like literally right there at the end. I probably could have skipped over the rest. No, I couldn't have, but I'm just saying. The reunion.
We need to know how we got here.
Right, and the suspense of just like the build up.
I can do without all that.
No, but the y'all had me stressed.
But now that we know
the build up to the end,
it turned into the perfect.
Yeah, it was. But
and I love the writing. It wasn't no bullshit. It wasn't convoluted. It wasn't all this extra shit. I'm glad the actors were really prominent on what they wanted their characters to be and to do, because that's way more than letting somebody else write for them. Oh, this is how it should be. No. I'll give them. They did perfect.
Right.
And it made sense.
6 episodes. Yes. And each episode gave us what we needed. It had action, it had drama, it had us in a chokehold for 6 fucking weeks. Trying to figure out what happened. So I think they did this excellent. Again, I would love to see Michonne in something else, but if we don't see her in nothing else, they did this. They did her story and they did her justice. So for me, thank you, Denai, with your beautiful self.
Thank you, everybody associated with this show. It was great. Just I don't know how many.
It's hard to go back.
Because now we're gonna watch the other shows with a different eye.
Right. That's the part. Now in my mind, I'm thinking of Fear and just how horrible that was at the end.
We don't have to talk about Fear anymore though, because Fear is done.
Gerald and we got
Dead City. It's really Dead City. So like
Dead City's gonna have to step it up.
Yeah.
It has.
They gotta step it up.
They're gonna have to help it out.
They gotta step it up, and I need
help right these. Go to Dead City.
I need Maggie to have some growth.
Yeah.
I need her to have some growth and some healing.
Let her character, let Lauren Cohan help write what the fuck is going on. Like, I'm for real.
Yeah.
I'm tired of Mad Maggie. Can we move on?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Is there anything else we need to talk about with this episode? I know it was kind of short. We didn't get a chance to do a second rewatch because both of these ladies have somewhere to be. So
it's Easter.
Yes, it's Easter. So
Happy Easter.
We're trying to make sure we got this out and got it done so we could get it posted.
And we didn't want to catch no spoilers. That's what it was.
Oh yeah,
that's the main thing. Because this morning I turned on my phone just to see what time it is, and I think I was on Twitter last night before I went to bed, and Twitter came up and something was trending. I said, no, let me put it.
I didn't even look at my phone this morning. I was like, this ain't gonna happen. I'm not doing that.
I
wanted my genuine to know what happened, and I followed too much Walking Dead shit.
Girl,
as soon as we were done the episode, and I picked up the phone. So I hit TikTok. Yep, it was a spoiler. So I was like,
well, we made it,
y'all. Be courteous. Some people won't see it until 9:00 tonight.
Yeah,
we won't even post this episode until probably about 10:30, which is when the show has finished airing, at least for us on the East Coast. But and then I'm expecting nobody on the West Coast is going to click on it before they've seen it. But still, just be courteous, because I've seen that a lot, not just with this show, but just in shows in general. Just be courteous of other people. Like, don't give out the spoilers and ruin it for everybody else. Like, people who are invested in this show and in these characters have waited so long, literal years, for them to have the conclusion to this story. Let them enjoy it the way that they need to enjoy it, and stop just trying to preempt everything. That you're taking the enjoyment out of everything for people. So that's just my little 2 cents on that. But let's see. The only other thing I want to mention is that if you're watching AMC tonight, there is a new show that is premiering called Parish. It has Giancarlo Esposito in it. There is going to be a sneak peek at Daryl Dixon, the Book of Carol, during that show. So make sure you tune in for that. I do want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to us over the last few weeks. We have seen like hundreds of new subscribers on our channel. Thank you so much. We've been getting lots of great comments on the YouTube videos. Thank you. Keep those coming. And then I think I'm going to end this with this. So this is something we have been talking about for a while now. It just hadn't come to fruition yet. But we are wondering, for those of you who enjoy our Walking Dead content, with the upcoming second season of Dead City, with the upcoming second season of Daryl Dixon, and possibly some other things that The Walking Dead will probably do in the next couple of years, because I don't think they're quite done. Would you prefer to see us do a completely separate show just for Walking Dead content? And it won't just be show recaps. We do have other discussion topics that we want to do. I think we'll probably delve a little bit more into our Negan and Maggie stuff that we've talked about at conventions over the last couple of years. But we just want to hear from you guys, the listeners. What would you like to see? Do you want us to keep doing it in this format, or do you want a show just for the Walking Dead stuff? Because we don't mind doing that. So chime in the comments, or you can send us a comment on our Facebook page or our website, which is fandomhybrid.com. Just let us know what you're thinking. And I guess for the ones who live, that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media, on all the social medias at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming events. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.